Were you there? When little John was brutally harassed? Were you there? When John was subject to pain, shame, and constant blame, were you there? When John's mother had 2 spoons of rice, but 3 mouths to feed, were you ever there? When John couldn't sleep at night because his body was tattooed with bruises and scars inflicted by his father based on his rage of life, where were you? When John was drowning in poverty, screaming out for a lifeguard, were you there? When a 7-year-old child contemplated suicide and took his own life, you weren't there. If there's one thing I know we all share, a common denominator, it's a heart. My heart beats exactly like yours, and your heart beats exactly like John's. And they say poverty deprives a man of all spirit and virtue. An empty bag cannot stand upright alone. Well, John was that bag. For John, there was no light at the end of the tunnel. Overwhelmed by the threshold of poverty, John took his own life. Another child, dead, before he didn't have the chance to live. And as much as we like to pass on the baton of blame, it is our fault. We all sit here and we say, what's in Africa is Africa's problem. And what's in China is China's problem. But that's not true. Are we not all human beings? Do we not all share that common bond, that common heart? Others will say this is just an isolated case. Well, that's also not true. Because John represents a whole nation who's seen damned. And as different as we may look and sound, are we not all still just one people? Ladies and gentlemen, we must have empathy. Whilst we sit here gloriously devouring our righteous 5 a day, there are children who aren't as lucky, struggling to scrape up their 1 a month. Are these children sons of a lesser God? No. They're just like you and me. You could be there in their lives. By giving money to notable charities, you could provide these children with something they so desperately need: love. Ladies and gentlemen, right now as we speak, there is a person now. Maybe young, maybe old, but they are drowning in poverty, about to be overwhelmed by that same threshold. But wait. Whilst drowning, they have one arm above the waterline, and awaiting they are for someone to put his or her hand upon theirs. Someone to give them a reason for life, something to fight for. And you know what? You could be there.